Hey, what's up? This is Spider-Prime1 back again with another Transformers video review. Alright, I'm going to be looking at the other two play sets that I own for the Dark of the Moon Cyberverse. I did this with Megatron and I just now did this with Starscream. Shoot. Kill me in the comments. I forgot the name of the technical name of this play set. I hate myself right now. But it's the Starscream something playset. I don't know, I think it was like the Orbital Assault Unit Carrier, something like that. I'm pretty sure on the Orbital Assault part, but not, I don't know. Like I did with the other ones, I'll tell you in Bumblebee's review, and I'll have Bumblebee's name down packed by the time I get to that. So, other than my name loss, this set was actually the first set to be released. I did these backwards. It actually went Starscream, Bumblebee, and then Megatron Prime. And then, I guess now it's Ratchet and Shockwave. So yeah. And the difference is with Megatron and Prime, and then I think Shockwave, those are all Commander figures, while Starscream, Bumblebee, and then Ratchet are all Legion figures. I think that's why they did Ratchet for the fifth one, is that to keep it 3 and 3, 3 Legion and 3 Commanders. But yeah, this is the Legion Starscream, and that before the most recent wave that had Starscream, Stealth Bumblebee, Flak, and Roadbuster, this was the only Starscream Legion. This was the only one you could get, and that was by buying the whole set. And that was actually the only way you could get Bumblebee for a little while, until Wave 2 and 3 came out with 2 different incarnations of Bumblebee. Well, yeah, these were the only ways you could get Starscream and Bumblebee for the time being, was just by getting these sets. Which is kind of clever, like promoting your... It's like, hey, you really like these 2 characters? Well, the only way you're going to get them is getting this big old hunk of plastic with it. And spend your parents' money to give us money. Kind of thing. But either way, it's still a good set. Starscream is the F-22 Raptor fighter jet mode. Still with the alien tattoos. From what I've heard, I read the Reign of Starscream comics, which on RuneScape 228. On his video when he reviewed the Voyager ROTF Starscream, he said to look at the Reign of Starscream comics to figure out why he got the symbols. It's actually not the Reign of Starscream comics, it's the series after that. Which is one of the 2 prequel comics for Revenge of the Fallen before you get to the movie adaptation. I don't know which, I don't have either of them, and I still could be wrong. It could be something in between those. I really don't remember. But I've seen pictures of it, like, because in the Reign of Starscream he tried to rebuild the Allspark by killing a bunch of Autobots and using their life energy to make a new Allspark, which he did for about 30 seconds, and then he was sabotaged. But I've seen pictures that after his failure, after he failed rebuilding the Allspark, he was so distraught that he carved the Allspark cryptics onto his body. So that's why he has all the black marks, is that he did that to himself, which I think that's so freaking awesome, and a little bit of oomph to this character. But that's enough about the backstory. Onto the figure itself. The figure's pretty good. It holds pretty well together, unless you shake it. On my copy, these tail fins are so loose, and they're so, I want to face this way, or I want to face forward and then fall down, or whatever. or face too far back. So you can't really mess with those all that much. But that's on my copy, and on my copy, the arms underneath, these don't really lock in, they just slide over and then stay, but the shoulder joints are a little too loose and they just like to flop around on there. But other than that, it's a pretty good mode. A lot better than the Legends class figure, I'll say that. There still is a little bit of undercarriage junk, but it's not that bad. It's fine. To me anyways. There might be some people who have problems with it. Transformation. What you want to do is you want to just lift, and then the wings will flatten themselves out, but if you want to do that ahead of time, there you go. Just like that. And then we want to come around here, spread the arms out. That's another thing on my copy. This hinge is really loose. It's a friction hinge, it's not a pin hinge, so it could just be wanting to pop out, but it hasn't popped out on me yet, so. But yeah, my version's real loose. That's something to look out for. And you can't tell through the packaging, so it's hit and miss. And then you fold the legs down and swivel. Down and swivel. They're on ball joints, and then the legs on a swivel joint. You want to spread the innards that are connected to his shoulders. Fold down the nose cone, and then you can bring him back in like this and have him like low shouldered. But stupid thing. I raise them all the way up till they hit the pin joint for his nose cone, and then just leave him up there so he has higher shoulders like he does in the movie. And then there's Starscream in robot mode. I don't like the wings hanging off to the side. I wish those could have moved up just a little bit so they could fill in the inner workings that are connected to his arms. But then again, there's not a whole lot you can do at this level. And these are basically improved Legends, because he has ball jointed shoulders, he can bend at the elbow, ball jointed legs, and he can swivel at the leg, or at the thigh. So that's a lot more articulation than some of the Legends have, or than most of the Legends have. Very few have extra maneuverability, or articulation, excuse me. So this is pretty good for basically a Legend Starscream. Actually, come to think of it, of the 3 Legend Starscreams I own, none of them have... No, the Reveal the Shield one has knee movement, but that's on a ball joint, and then the hip is on a swivel, so it's actually kind of useless. So that's Starscream. We'll set him to the side real quick. On to his playset, because I don't remember the name. I feel stupid. And if this looks familiar, it should. This is actually the vehicles that are in Dark of the Moon that patrol around Chicago, and then land inside the really big ones. So that's kind of cool. You can recreate a lot more of Dark of the Moon with your Cyberverse figures than just with character to character. You can bring these in, but that requires buying a multitude of this set, which I actually don't see anymore in stores. So if you had the chance and bought a lot, then that's good for you. But this is one of its 3 modes, which is just the fighter. And you can put him down here, but that requires popping this joint out, and I wouldn't suggest popping it this way because it feels like I'm going to break the pegs. You got to slide the wheel, you got to stretch this piece and slide it off the peg. Otherwise, you might break it. I haven't tried because I don't want to break it, especially now that I don't think you can get them anymore, except for online. But yeah, this is mode 1, the fighter jet mode. And then his firing weapon is over here. And I wondered, I was like, why is this gun so short and then this gun's really long? even if you fire the missile. I watched Dark of the Moon again, and I looked, and they actually do have one short gun and one long gun on the actual CGI model. So really top notch. They actually went all out on this. So that's pretty cool. And then the triggering button is over here. And it shoots pretty well. Oops. Well, I was going to take it out anyways. And then it's got a really big peg, so if you wanted to give it to a bigger figure, you could do that. And then it's got a little peg, so you could give it to either a Legion class figure or a Cyberverse figure, because they both have the same hand size. Or you could go along with the 3mm mech tech kind of thing that they're doing. And here's Bumblebee's battle base. This one's actually covered with little ports, but I'll get to that in his video. And then you could just stick it in one of those holes and upgrade another set. So now it's got a gun. You could do it with Optimus and Megatron, but I have them transformed right now and it'll look really weird. So yeah, that's that. We'll take this off for a second. And then getting to this one's second mode, what you want to do is you want to fold these down and then bring up these little pieces here to kind of fill it out. And you can leave it like this too, with a bigger front, which I like to do. I like it up. I don't like it down. It just looks weird. But you fold the guns down, and you just open this up like this, and then take this gun and plug it back here. It says to put it in this thruster, but you can put it in either one. And then Starscream can either stand here, or you can have him sit down. And it becomes kind of a throne for Starscream, which I think is kind of cool. It adds to his more comic character than movie character, because in the movies he's not as "one day I shall rule the Decepticons" as he is in the comic books. Because in the comic books he really wants to lead the Decepticons, the movie comic books. But in the movie itself, he's just kind of Megatron's punching bag. But yeah, that's the second mode. It looks pretty good. It's a lot of fun if you just want to set it up and then just have your Legion Starscream being like, "I will one day rule the Decepticons, and I shall destroy Megatron." And then all of a sudden, just like, "Shh, you were saying," and he's like, "Megatron is the true leader. Thank you." And stuff like that. So, take him off for a second, and then we'll pull this back off and stick it down here. And then for the third mode, you want to flip the thrusters. Oh, by the way, the thrusters have 2 clip system points on each one, and then they also have the peg and clip that all the other Cyberverse platforms have. And someone commented on my Optimus review, I think it was Transformers Freak 317. I'm sorry if I got the number wrong. But he had a pretty good idea that that those clip things are meant to clip the battle sets together. Which I could see, but I also want to know, like, okay, how would this one clip onto the other ones when this one's horizontal and they're all stuff like that. But I guess it just goes into your imagination, and if you have different levels of playability, because they're not all the same height. I know that for a fact. But anyways, this is the third mode, which is you bring the guns back up and then you flip this all the way back, and it's got the thrusters going this way so it can still go forward. And then we turn Starscream into his jet mode real quick. Because basically what you have just made unofficially, is a landing ramp for all your jets or your flying megatrons. But yeah, that's pretty much what you just did. You just made a big ol' heavily armed landing platform that can fly. So it can be flying while he's flying down to land on it. So there's a whole possibility there. Take him off real quick. One of the features that I haven't shown until now, just because this feature is for personal preference. These guns can rotate. They rotate here and here. And they can go up, or you could have them go down, and then that's about it. You could have it shoot at the... Ooh. That's another thing. These are on friction joints too, and they like to pop off. So you can either raise them or lower them, but they can't like turn backwards or go other directions or whatever. But yeah, it's a pretty good set. I like it a lot. I say that about almost everything, but this is a really good set. It's really fun. Here, I like to just leave the gun stuck in there. It's better that way. But yeah, this one, you get a lot of playability out of it, especially with the Starscream it comes with. And just the fact that it comes with Starscream is it gets it a lot more personality. With as much as your imagination will go with it. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. It helps complete your playset collection. So yeah, it's really fun. It's really cool. It just fills up Starscream's ego. But yeah, highly recommended. I'm Spider Prime 1, that's Starscream, and like I said, kill me for not knowing the name that this was, in the comments only, not in real life. But yeah, I'm Spider Prime 1, back with another review pretty soon, but until then, I'm signing off.